You're watching News 8.
Dr. Jeff Hart from Highland Family Medicine is with us. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, people, as we know, are enjoying the easing of restrictions as it relates to COVID. But some are asking the question, and I think rightly so, what happens if people who have not been vaccinated take off the mask as well? Not just outdoors, but indoors as well. What type of trouble does this present?
Well, while in many parts of the U.S., businesses have reopened, mask mandates and social distancing guidelines have been lifted for vaccinated people, the guidelines for unvaccinated Americans are largely unchanged as a result of all this. The current thought is between 70 and 90% of the entire U.S. population would need to be vaccinated in order to reach herd immunity. In other words, not to worry about masks at all. Right now, the U.S. has about 50% of adults that have been vaccinated. That says nothing about children. So we're way far away from that 70 to 90% of the total. So even now, with 50% of the U.S. adult population vaccinated, we're still seeing new infections, new hospitalizations, and new deaths from COVID. And overwhelmingly, those deaths are in adults who have not been vaccinated.
Let's talk about outdoors versus indoors in terms of unvaccinated people not having a mask on. I would assume the risk is greater indoors, right?
That's right. So according to the CDC, unvaccinated Americans can participate in outdoor activities, small groups, which is less than 10 or less, with family members and with close friends who are comfortable with not being masked, especially if those close friends are vaccinated. In any larger group, more than 10 people, masking is preferred for everyone, vaccinated or unvaccinated. Even outdoors, unmasking can be considered, but only when the rest of the group is comfortable with not masking and when social distancing can be maintained, which is difficult at most outdoor activities that are used, for celebration and things like that. People are not usually maintaining that distance.
For sure. For the unvaccinated person, what is the risk to self and what is the risk to others if they're not masking?
Right. So unvaccinated individuals are still at risk for getting the disease. It's out there, and especially if they have risk factors. So the best way to protect oneself, except for being vaccinated, is to wear a mask. Now, wearing a mask protects others around because you, as an unvaccinated person, are still susceptible to the disease and can have it without having symptoms. You can still pass the disease without symptoms, and your friends, even though they've been vaccinated, some of them are still susceptible. The vaccine protects against severe illness, but not against all illness, and we all know that it's having all sorts of long-term consequences, so getting the disease at all is not a good thing. So people can still get the disease from you, even if they've been vaccinated, if you are unvaccinated and get infected.
All right, and let me put a bow on it. Bottom line here, unvaccinated people should continue to wear masks in most settings. Fair to say?
That is fair.
All right, doctor, thank you. If you missed any of this conversation, we'll share it online at rochesterfirst.com.